mad you're gonna be when you got there, like, oh, I remember the calls. We're just like, oh my god.
Okay, guys, this afternoon we're really privileged to have Connor come and talk to us. He's going to share a whole bunch of messages with you. And no sunglasses.
Is that a rule? Thinks he's Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Yo! Yes!
Gotta love him, right?
Oh my god, I'm so happy now. Someone else knows Conor
Of
McGregor.
course, I'm cooking for good. Anyways, go ahead.
So please listen. No phones, no headphones,
No sunglasses?
no sunglasses,
Okay.
no hats. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
Okay.
lay down the rules on
We
a Friday
gotta
afternoon,
look
but we have a guest
sleek, though.
speaker. We have
It's all
to be
good.
very
See, like, if he looks fleek, we gotta.
I know you're all looking
good.
good. It's
I
all
forgot to
good.
dress up.
No, no worries.
Except for that guy.
All right, guys.
White
So
shirt.
we're gonna break into it here first. So I'm gonna start with some math equations. How's that sound? Sound pretty good? Some math equations? I'm just joking.
Oh, yeah,
Let's get serious. I'll get serious for you. So my name is Connor LaRock. I'm a 22-year-old law and commerce student at Laurentian, a soon-to-be two-time author, and a national level Muay Thai kickboxer. So today, there we go. I like that.
I'm wrestling too.
So today I'm here to speak to you guys about building an empowering mindset, that's not only going to kind of help you in decision making, but it'll also motivate you. So when it comes to motivation, there's two variables that come into play. So there's internal and external motives. Have you ever had a time in your life where, let's say you're driving in a car, maybe laying on the couch, and all of a sudden, bang, something hits you, and it was almost as if you drank a full pot of coffee? Well, what exactly was it that put you into that state of mind? Was it music, something external? Maybe the music got you pumped up. Maybe you guys thought about a girl you really liked, then all of a sudden put you into like this happy state. Either that or maybe someone put a gun to your head and said, hey, let's rock and roll. So whatever it was, it enhanced your mood, enhanced the way you were thinking. So I want to break this down for a second, give you guys a little bit of perspective. So when it comes to motivation, the whole aspect I give it is mindset is everything. So I say it because of this. So you guys all you're probably like myself back in the day. You roll out of bed, you're like, oh, I gotta go to school. Oh, I gotta go to work tonight. Oh, I'm alive, right? You're just thinking, you're just kind of dragged down, right? Watch. I'll use the exact same vocabulary, but I'll just switch the physiology, the way I present it. So imagine you wake up out of bed in the morning, you're like, oh, I gotta go to school. Oh, I gotta go to work. Yeah, I'm alive. What do you think is gonna happen after a week if you continue doing that? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? What's gonna happen is every day you're gonna get out of bed, you're gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna get pumped up right off the bat. So give me a subject you guys don't like. Give me anything, any math. You don't know how many times I get math. So take math for instance. So let's say for 2 weeks straight, every time you think about math, you're going there, you're like, yeah, mathematics, I'm pumped, math. Just like the kind of fire mentality, right? You're getting into that state. What's gonna happen after those 2 weeks? Next time you think about math, bang, you put yourself right into that mood. Like you'll all of a sudden be like, yeah, math. You're like, wait a second, your brain's kind of thinking for a second. So how this ties into motivation and mindset and everything else is, think about this for a second. So let's say we have two people, okay? You've probably seen two people similar to this. So I tell someone, I'm like, this is impossible. Person right away says, well, I guess this is impossible. I'm never going to be able to do that. Person backs away. Whereas I go to someone else and I say, this is impossible. Person sparks right up. They're like, I'm going to show you why this is not impossible. What is the difference between these two people? They're at it here. Go for it. No, go for it.
The person who says not that this is, I'll show you why it's not impossible. Is like he's up for a challenge. He's ready to
Exactly.
prove he can do it.
Absolutely correct. Mindset right there.
Corbin.
Okay, so
Does not look like Corbin at all.
see the class.
Do you want to stay for the presentation? What does it involve?
It's good. Just sit down. It's good.
Do it. It's good.
Okay,
It's
so
just shit. Let's just say.
So going back to that idea, okay, for a second. So yeah, so it's the guy's attitude, his perception, their mindset, which is different, which will in fact produce different results. So let's bring it back to it for a second. So do you think, for instance, like what I found in my life, so let's look at any individual. You tell them, they're like, oh, I've worked a 12-hour day, I went to school today, I went to the gym. I'm like, I'm absolutely exhausted. They sit back there like, yeah, there's nothing else I can do. I'm like, are you sure? You have nothing left? Like, no, I got nothing left. I'm like, what if I gave you $100 to work for another hour? Person stands back, well, yeah, maybe I can do another hour. Or let's say you're working out at the gym. All of a sudden, you're completely gassed, you're sweating, you're finished. And then all of a sudden, your idol walks in. They walk through the door, you're like, okay, yeah, maybe I can go for a little bit more. So what this goes to show us, guys, is there's actually this hidden potential within your mental faculty, within your mind, that you can unlock. So I'm a little bit extreme, and I think you guys will appreciate this. The mentality I have, I call it battlefield mentality. So when an incentive is high enough to achieve a task, you will find a way. So take for instance, let's say you're on a battlefield fighting in war. Bodies are flying, people are dying. If you don't find the strength to continue running, that's it. You think you'd find the strength? Absolutely, because your life's on the line. The second example being, let's say you're by a cliff, you're walking there, you blow a tire, and your leg gives out, and you're hanging off that cliff. If you don't pull yourself up, that's it, game over, you're gonna die. In both of these examples, you would in fact find the strength. You would pull yourself up, you would keep going. So here's the problem. The social norm within our society is that people think we have to be put into these extreme situations. You have to go into these really extreme things like on a battlefield, blah, blah, blah. When the reality is, guys, it's through constant repetition where you can program your mind to get into those states. So let's say one day you're really tired, but then all of a sudden you're like, well, if I do this, it's gonna benefit me. You can crack right into that state. But the thing is, if you just do it once, you're just like, oh yeah, positive affirmation one time, it's not gonna work. You're gonna have to continually do this to program your mind. In psychology, we call it conditioning. So take for instance, if someone's always negative to you and you always react. Like let's say your parents, for instance, they're like, well, as soon as they tell you, go clean your room, you stand right up, you're like, no, I'm cleaning my room. You're always reactive opposed to proactive where you just say, okay, I'm gonna do it. What do you think is gonna happen if after time, every time your parents do that, you always react? Next time they say, go clean your room or do something, you're gonna jump up and say, no, I'm not doing that. So where I wanna tie this into my life is, it's kind of funny, I have some funny stories for you. When I was sitting in your seats, not too long ago, I'm only 22 years old, just so you get some background here.
We're kind of
Dude,
close to
really?
age.
Real close to age, man.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
What, 18?
Yeah.
17.
17, really close. You guys are gonna love this. So when I was sitting in your seat, I lived by the mentality thinking that things just happen, right? You get up in the morning and life's just gonna kind of pass you by. You have minimal control over your life.
That's kind of how I think.
That's what you think, but you're gonna like this then. This is gonna bring it back. So that's what I thought. I thought everything just happens, right? So when I was 17 years old, I fought in the biggest kickboxing tournament in Canada, the National Championships. There was a national title belt on the line, and guess what I did? I trained for 2 weeks maybe. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go in there. The kid was younger than me at the time. I was gonna run him over, it'd be no problem. I go home with a title belt. Guess what happened? First 15 seconds of the fight, I dropped my hand, made a rookie mistake, bang. To this day, I don't recall walking back to the dressing room. Did I get a concussion? Yes, I did. Did I finish the fight? Absolutely. Did I learn a lesson? Not at the time, I did not. It carried over until the following year. I was sparring a pro-type boxer guy in the gym. The guy had arms the size of my head. He was like 6'3", big bald head. The guy was a scary guy. And here I am kicking his leg, and I like to always have a good laugh, right? So I'm kicking the guy's leg like 10 times, and he wasn't having any of it. So I thought, you know what, okay, there's a bruise there. I'm gonna kick him again. Guess what happened? I kicked him, pardon?
You fell?
He fell. Well, I fell, okay? I buckled. I ended up actually kicking him that one last time to find out, I woke up on the canvas. And I was looking around, and the whole purpose of your brain, so you get some ideas, is your brain makes connections, right? So my brain for 2 weeks after that moment was trying to put it together until he finally came up and said, yeah, I knocked you unconscious. Just like that. And that's scary, right? It can happen in a split second because I thought I had absolutely no control when I could have took it serious. This guy was a pro. Same with that time I went into that fight, I could have took it seriously, maybe trained, and then I wouldn't have dropped my hand, made an amateur mistake, right? The funny thing was, sitting in your seat at 17 years old, I was carrying on that same mentality. When I had been knocked unconscious, I lost the national title fight. I had a 65 average. I figured, you know what? Things happen, right? I'm going to easily get into university. Guess what happened? Anyone got an answer?
You didn't.
I didn't get into university. I watched all my best friends go off to university while I had to work a minimum wage job feeling sorry for myself because of 2%. That same exact year, my parents divorced. So I'm sitting there, the world's crashing down on me. I'm like, what is happening? Like seriously, you're sitting in that seat and I'm trying to come to a justifiable conclusion. And like I told you, right, the brain makes connections. And guess what I came to the conclusion of? It's the fact that the choices you will make today will dictate your future. You will never be able to go back into a moment because nothing will last forever in your lifetime. Once I came back to that conclusion, I kind of sat back and I was like, wow, with that title fight, with sitting in your seats, if I would have got 2% more, all I would have had to do, maybe get one answer right on a test, and then I would have got into university. But I sat back, I was laying back in your seats thinking, you know what, my 65 average is fine. It wasn't. So once I came to that conclusion, there's one thing I'm going to tell you, and it's something very valuable. Look at any successful individual you see out there. Anyone. Like take anyone in the world that we in society say is successful, you're going to figure something out. That they're a person no different than you and I. They have a brain, body, bleed, and breathe. I've been studying this for a number of years now, success, the idea of success in society's eyes. And the conclusion I've drawn is the fact that what makes these individuals successful is not luck, okay? Luck is a term used as an excuse. Someone will be like, okay, yeah, there will always be disadvantages you'll have in life, but luck is an excuse. Someone will say, well, they got lucky. Right away, they shut off. They put the blinders on. They won't even give it a try. Take a look at your society today. Look at some of these very successful figures. We put them up to godlike status. You guys not see that though? We put them up and say godlike figure like Donald Trump or like Kim Kardashian. Like we look at them in this figure when really, realistically, they're people no different than you and I. So what led to their success is strategy backed with execution and persistence. Those are your three variables. You can look at any battlefield fighting in war, like look back in history, look at all these success stories, and it's strategy backed with execution, numerous failures, but then they found a plan that worked. And that's what I want to come here with you guys today, is that if you can I have this worksheet I'm going to give you after. What it is it starts off very broad, because I want you to get you thinking. I want to get your brain working in different ideas, and then we're going to focus you in. So this whole idea of focus, I'm sure lots of people are like, come on guys, you got to get focused, you got to focus. And I was the same way. And I'm sitting there, I was doing a number of different things, right? I'm training, I was going to school, I was working, and everyone kept telling me the same thing. You're not focused. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm doing 20 things. No, focus doesn't mean just being able to stare at that wall for 20 minutes. Focus means being able to get specific. Because when you get specific, then you'll have a clear picture in your mind. So I make the metaphor that instead of just heading out towards the stars, you guys are heading towards the moon, okay? So how this all kind of relates is the fact that, let's look at life. If you don't have a target hit, where are you guys aiming? You're aiming to the wall, right? You have no target hit. So that's where I'm kind of bringing this back with getting specific. Another very important key aspect with life is, so for instance, we'll get into these certain states of mind, right? We'll get excited one day. Like, let's say you're sitting on the couch one day, one of your favorite rap tunes comes on, you're sitting there, you're like, yeah, I'm pumped. And then it dies. No, not for you guys? No. But I use this idea of motivation, okay? Motivation is like a fire. So like a fire, if you don't add fuel to that fire, it's going to die out. So go back to that idea. Let's say one of your songs comes on, you're really pumped. You're like, this is what I want out of life, and then bang, it dies out. It's like you throw gas on the fire, it gets huge, and then it just shines out. So what I'm trying to show you is that within our mind, we go through, there's pictures going right now as I'm talking. There's a number of pictures going through your mind. And the thing is, with goals and targets, a lot of time people don't know what they want in life. Whether they do, it's not guaranteed. So it's this complete pulling game. So the more clear you have a picture in your mind, the easier it'll just keep, like every day you'll wake up, you're like, this is what I want. It's going to give you a target. And then it'll make it more clear opposed to being kind of wishy-washy and then sitting there to yourself and thinking, well, this isn't going to work. I want to show you one of the best techniques I use, and it's kind of funny. You guys will have a good laugh. I carry this with me every single day. What is this? What do you guys think this is?
It's a reminder or something to keep you on track.
Exactly. Pardon?
Quote.
Quote, it's similar, very, very close. My goal card. Are you?
I have this thing on my door. It's like, I don't know if you ever read this book. It's called The Four Agreements.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's really interesting. You should read it.
Yeah, take a look into it.
It's like a way of life. It's like there's four. It's like don't take things personally. Always do your best. Don't assume, and is it like, forget the other one.
No, it's
But
cool.
I try and read it. Like,
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll look into it. I like touching base on a lot of different books, yeah.
There's also a book like it's called The Secret. And
Oh, of
it's
course,
also
yeah.
Similar to what he has.
Exactly, yeah.
I've read that and
actually getting that.
If you guys like The Secret, there's a guy named Bob Proctor. So he was one of the executives that started that, and I went and seen him live. He's phenomenal. He has a book called Born in the Wind, and that's a really cool book. And a lot of this stuff, so just so you get an idea, so I study success and failure, the personal development aspects. So this is where I base my whole seminar on and with my own ideas. Plus I'm an author, right? So I have a whole bunch of different things. So this is similar stuff to, I just take their ideas and then I'll combine it. Like we make this saying that it's like standing on the shoulders of giants. So Isaac Newton, you've all heard of him. That was his quote. He said, rather than, he stands on the shoulders of giants. So you don't just make your own ideas, you'll take their ideas, build on them, right? That's how it kind of goes. So with this idea, actually, funny enough, you mentioned The Secret. This comes from Bob Proctor, the guy that was the executive on The Secret. So he always said, write like a goal card down with exactly what you want. So every time I think about every time I touch this card, what do you think I'm thinking about? My goal. It just becomes habit, right? It's a habit. It forms in my mind. So that's not like I told you guys where you're unfocused, you're kind of all over the place. You know what you want. And what you'll see with a lot of people is that they kind of, they're wishy-washy, right? They don't have a direct decision on what they want. So then they wonder why they fail, or I guess they learn, right? It's because they're not focused. You look at any successful individual out there, Bill Gates, any of these guys, they all had to plan with what they wanted. They knew what they wanted opposed to just kind of saying, this is what I want. They stuck to a decision. Yep.
Like, I think I had touched on this like concept before, and I've learned about it. It's like I don't know, the way this person said it was like narrow road versus like winding road.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a spot to hit. You're not just flowing in the wind like a leaf,
Exactly.
right? You're grounded. You have focus.
Exactly, focus, and that's what's going to help you. So you need targets. Go on.
So how do you know what you want? Like, how did you, if you don't mind me asking,
No, not at all.
What did you want?
So
You were-
what separated me, so I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. It's going to go into the practical aspect here, but just to give you a little bit of background, from a very young age, I was plagued with fear. Okay, like fear just haunted my every decision making. I was scared to go to sleep to enter the dream world. Sounds funny, right? But I was scared because I was having nightmares. My brother bullied me every single day. He put an implement, like a complete fear in me, where it was weird because he was the opposite. So I was in your seats, the same thing. I didn't know what I wanted out of life. I didn't really know. And it's going to show in the presentation. So for instance, let's say you don't like to read. It's because you haven't found anything that really grasps your attention. You know, you don't want to read Shakespeare. We all don't at this age. It's reasonable to say, but it's a lot of time nothing interests you. So what happened was, I was a hockey player. I played football, lacrosse. I played every sport, golf, whatever. But then I found martial arts. So you're a wrestler, and I think some of you guys like the martial arts scene.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what led, that was my passion. I look back at my history. Your history is your reference book, right? Your past, that's the reference. And I look back in history, and I tried to realize, like, I'd always been attracted to martial arts, but I never got into it. Until I was 16, and I went into martial arts. All of a sudden, I was good at something. I wasn't just this mediocre person, like, I trained really hard. It was like a natural high. Like, I would go to train, I'd come home, I wouldn't shut up. Even though I don't already, but you know what? It was one of those things, though, right? You don't need pre-workout or anything else. It was just one of those natural things. And after I discovered that, I started looking. I was trying to look at what I was always attracted to. And I challenged this idea in my life that most people will tell me, and it's been for a long time, they say I can't help people for a living. Like, you know, I mean, I can go be a lawyer and go sit in court and help people, but they said, like, you can't physically have a job where you're going to come in, like, and speak to you guys and develop strategies. And I've challenged that, and it's worked very well in my favor, and that was my thing. So I liked a lot of these personal development, self-help, psychological books. Like, I really like the idea of mindset, being able to unlock your mind, and that's what led to my passion, and I started to apply it. I started to take techniques, and so to get people to listen to me at first, I'd be like, yeah, you remember this time you told me this? So, because right away you put the focus on them, they think they gave you the idea, so they're more receptive to listen to you, opposed to me just coming in and saying, blah, 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 blah. They're like, we don't want to listen to you, right? So I started to use that as my technique, and then all of a sudden I just started developing my own strategies, and they work. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And what happens is, once you kind of know what you want and you start actually seeing results, you're like, this is awesome. Like, you think I ever thought I could write a book when I was 16, 17, 18? Everyone told me, they're like, he's not going to publish a book, until I did it. And then I have another one coming out too, and everyone's like, you're not going to write that book. And this one, you know what I mean? And that's what happens, is we have these kind of blinders in our mind. Our mind is the key to your future. Think about it. In order for you to see me and interpret information, it all starts with here. I call it your mental faculty, right? Your reference point. Everything starts within your mind. So if you have an image of yourself, you're like, I suck. And you constantly wake up every day and program yourself like that. You're like, I suck. You think you're going to unlock your potential. Never. And a lot of the time we lack confidence. Like I did, I lacked confidence until I finally started to step into different situations. You have to put yourself, you can't just follow the same path. Like if you just every day just do the same things, you'll never see something differently through your eyes, right? So what I want to do here, I'm going to break this into practical. This is going to tie in with everything so you kind of get an idea. But for you at your age, so all you guys are all 17, you're at a changing time in your life. I got this worksheet for you. It's not like it's not a worksheet where you hear, I don't want to do a worksheet. What it is 10 questions. And with these 10 questions I'm going to give you, it starts off, like I said, broad, and they're going to focus in. This will help you. So if you're a wrestler, whatever you like, it's awesome that you're a wrestler. Wrestling is one of the hardest sports there is out there. It really is. Like throwing guys, ripping your neck up. Or are you guys into sports? Or what do you give me some ideas. What do you guys like to do? Football, there we go. That's a tough sport. Hockey player, there we go.
Yeah,
Another hockey player, it's awesome. You too? Football, I've seen you before too, by the way. I don't know where. That's funny. Are you anything? Are you like reading or video games or other stuff like that?
There's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
That's awesome. So you guys are all in. How about yourself? Mixed
I
up?
wasn't karate.
That's cool. Hunting too, big hunter. That's good. You know what I mean? Those are all your aspects there. They get you into that state. Okay. So this is one of the cool parts of my presentation. So the presentation, and I know it sounds really heavy, it sounds powerful. Unlocking your mind, the awakening to the unlimited potential that burns within you. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, I'm really into personal development. I look up videos every single day. And there's like one thing to get at, one exercise that really helped me out with getting out of negativity, which I used to be all about, right? I listened to death metal. I was all into that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was hurting myself every day, like, constantly. There's no one else that could hurt me more than myself.
Exactly.
And, so like, I actually figured out this summer is like, grab like at least a handful of negative thoughts and try to switch them up. Say like,
Exactly.
Say positive things about yourself. Like,
Exactly.
you look at yourself in the mirror, be like, yo, I'm great. This is me. This is what I like. This is what I like to do.
No, exactly. You find too, you're your biggest critic.
Yeah.
Critic at the end of the day. So what this presentation is going to show you too, you're going to get right into everything with I'm talking about. It's awesome. You're going to really like this. I've designed this too. It's all designed in terms of decision making for all you guys to kind of get you going. But it keeps going back. Everything in life goes back to the idea of constant repetition. That's how you're going to program your mind. That's how you're going to kind of see certain things. You're saying, okay, this is how I'll program it. So you know what? I can keep saying to myself this, and that, and all of a sudden then I'll start to believe it. You know what I mean? It's through that constant repetition. But if, like I said, if you just say it once, you're like, I'm awesome. But then you don't continue doing that. If you don't kind of persist with that, it's never going to become second nature, or it won't be a habit. So, okay. So what I want to show you guys right off the bat. Can you guys see this, or is it you need a different light off? Can you see it back there? Yep. Okay, good. I just want to make sure we can all see this. So producing results. These 3 questions here are going to show you why you are in full control of your mind right now. So I put the barrier to the success you will see within this lifetime is decided upon whether you beat the battle between you and yourself. It's touching. What's your name? Avery. So it's touching right on that idea what you said. You were the biggest critic, right? We're going to go back to that in a second. But I want to ask you these 3 questions. So whether or not you wanted to get out of bed this morning, whether or not your mom or dad just grabbed you, threw you right in the shower, was it not you in full control? Was it not you when your mom woke you up and said, this sucks, I don't want to get out of bed? Was that not your mind thinking that? Every single one of you, it absolutely was. The second thing, once you go home tonight, do you get to choose what you're going to do? Whether you want to play video games, whether you want to sit on Instagram for an hour, whether you want to go on Facebook and talk to people, talk to girls, do whatever, is that not your choice? Whether or not you want to maybe research something you like, is that not your choice? It is. Right in this moment, whether or not you're focusing on me, whether it's going in one ear and out the other, are you not in full control of your mind? So I can stay watched. Banana, bang, you guys think of that preconceived notion of banana. Steak, right there, comes in your mind. You're in full control, right? So that's what I'm kind of trying to show you. Okay, going back to this idea that the only person ever going to stop you is yourself. So here's the idea, okay? So you got you and yourself. You is the person that's, let's say, when you go home tonight and you just want to be your true person, like where you're just talking stupid, saying whatever, not worried about what anyone else thinks. That's you. So it's unlimited potential. You live beyond the 5 senses. You're not just living in this materialistic world. You're going deeper than that. You're thinking deeper. It's creative, subjective, right? Because it's controversial. More than just what's seen on the surface. So the self, this is the person when you guys are going to go in for a job interview and go present yourself. This is how you think people want to perceive you. You're going to walk in and say, I got an 80 average, I do this. Like that's the person, right, that you think other people want to perceive you as. That's the self. So the rational being lives within the 5 senses, logical, objective. I call it the stop sign for the fact that you will never truly reach your full caliber and capabilities if you stay within that, if you don't get creative with show your own creativity, if you don't show people, because you'll never know, unless you actually start acting like yourself, and people will be like, wow, that person's awesome, opposed to just kind of conforming to the social norm. Okay, this is cool. This is my own psychology concept. I never got a trademark or anything yet, but this I've designed. So it's called battlefield mentality. So as fighters, hockey players, whatever you, even you go hunting, any of the fields you guys are intertwined with, this really is going to help you. So battlefield mentality is a psychological concept I've designed in which we use extreme examples, imagining ourselves being in drastic situations where we're backed up against the wall to allow us to realize there's an unlimited potential. So go back to that. So like I was saying, if you work a 12-hour shift, you're like, I'm done. I'm like, I'll give you another $100, or I'll give you the promotion. Right there, you crack into that state. You're like, okay, yeah, I can do that. The incentive's not high enough, you're like, screw it, I'm going home. Am I right? See, that's how I kind of think. So what it's going to show is that there is this potential in your mind. So a lot of the time, because people will tell you you can't do something, or they'll be like, you know what, no, that's unrealistic. Right away, depending on the type of person you are, how you react, you might just put the blinders on right away and say, I can't do that. And that's what happens a lot of time with dreams and hopes.
Yeah,
They go because people shut you off, right?
I know exactly what you mean, because like I got music like is what I love, and like I love to do that with my life, but everyone around me tells me that I can't, but that I won't. It's like impossible.
What I would recommend to you, my friend, and I was the same thing. I was going to be a professional Muay Thai fighter. Okay, that was the funny thing. Everyone told me, what the best thing you can do for that, like the best thing in life, everyone, like the sum of achievement in life is dependent on results. That's what people see, right? They don't care how hard you work. It's the results, right? So with you intertwining what you're doing, keep doing your thing, and always have the music on the side. Maybe make videos, have something, always have it on the side, but at least you'll have that'll be your background. Like you'll have a background in it, but you'll have a base in something. Like, so let's say you're working at a bank or you're working for a law firm, anything else, you'll have that, but you'll always have that on the side. So when the opportunity presents itself, when someone's like, I want to hear your music, bang, you hit them with that. And that's the thing, you just take it and you kind of just say, okay, yeah, okay, that's cool, but then show them why. Use it as a motivation, a fire that's going to ignite something in you. When they say, no, you can't do music, say, okay. But then show them why you can. And keep doing what you're doing. Like, obviously, stick to your school, stick to your reading books, but always have that as a side. You always have to have, like, this backup plan, like, out the back door. We can't just go straight and narrow. You have to have a few different directions, right? So that you'll be thinking ahead. Someone will just be straight and narrow. Sorry, I'm going to answer your question in 2 seconds. In university, for instance, nothing against university, so I'm a student, and it's interesting sometimes because you meet a lot of different minds. You're going to meet a lot of different people in the world, and a lot of them stick to textbook definitions. That's it. You get into arguments with these people, and it could be the same in a court of law. They sit there and they're like, well, this is what the textbook says. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you memorized all this, you can go, but the person that can think 3 steps ahead, they're the one that's going to bang. They're going to say, well, this, and then you hit them 1, 2, 3. And all of a sudden they're thinking, you get them thinking, and that's the whole purpose, right? So you always got to have different focal points to view different ideas. So you think from one angle, you can see it. So I want to see through your eyes. I want to see what makes you think. What's going on inside your mind, so then I can develop something to kind of push you forward, or maybe I'll, as a joke, sometimes we like to push each other's buttons, right? So I can find out, oh, hey, what's going to drive you nuts, right? And then I can hit those points, the receptive points in your mind. It's really cool. Go ahead.
Would that still apply to me? Because I'm actually an actor. Like I do acting. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's the thing. I'm never going to come in here and cut your dreams. I'm going to give you a realistic sense of life, but at the same point in time, you have to be a little bit unrealistic. People will think you're crazy, right? And that's the thing. What you're going to find throughout history, studied a vast study of history, is that there's a lot of similar patterns in people's thinking. So people will be like, that person's crazy. Like that guy's missing a bolt. And then all of a sudden they go do something outrageous. Like they do something that builds this company. Like they're a genius. A lot of it, but then some people are actually crazy, you know what I mean? They just don't have no strategy. But some of the most successful minds you will see in this world, they have that strategy. They know everyone's going to point the finger at you. So take Conor McGregor. You all like Conor McGregor? You know how hard that guy trains? You know what I mean? As much as he's a big yapper, he trains very hard, and that's what he gets. So if you're an actor, the thing is, there's so many actors out there. It's such a saturated market. You have to find what will distinguish you. So you take Vitaly. You've seen Vitaly online, the prankster? Mm-hmm. So look, he wants to get into acting. He's going in the background. And look, he will make it. He's going to make it the way he's doing it as a prankster. So you can't just be in like an ordinary actor. You have to find a different receptive point, something that will get you noticed. And I'm going to go right into this. And this is the most valuable part of my presentation, is going to touch on exactly that point. So just hang on for a second, and I'm going to get into that for you.
It's good, like, work with everyone, though. Like, I mean, as a football player, if you're very innovative and creative in the way you play, and like even wrestling or any sport or anything you do, like with music, you need to be an individual. Like no one's gonna look at the same generic person all the time. Like
Exactly.
They don't want to see the same cookie cut.
Exactly.
They wanna see-
I'm in a law course right now at school. It goes on. It's copyright. We learned about copyright, and it's going on about that fact that like everything's not original. Like it's based so they're making the mashups nowadays, and it's based off other people's ideas. But give me a second. I'm going to touch right on all this stuff for you. So we're going to intertwine this, and it's all going to connect. Okay. So building confidence. So being that you guys are all high school students, like I told you guys, I lacked confidence. I was terrified. I made it all the way up to junior A hockey. Okay. First game was against my brother's hockey team. And my brother, he's a big grinder. My brother would have made it to the NHL if he wasn't such a fighter and busted all of his hands up. His hands are like this, right? You got to claw. He's an awesome guy, but at the time he really liked to party and do a lot of other things. And initially what happened was, so I got drafted. First game he calls me and says, yeah, he's like, I'm going to take care of you on the ice. Like in a bad way, right? He's like, I'm gonna hit you so hard on the ice you're not going to play. Like, and it's kind of a scary thought right there. And then I had no confidence. I quit. I quit right there, went to high school hockey. I was like, you know what, I'm not playing my brother's team. Like, he lays guys out on the ice. And so what I have for you when it comes to building confidence, So the reason you might not have confidence in something, what you're going to find is the fact that you haven't had that experience. So you know what, maybe if I would have went out and played that hockey game, even if you would have laid me out, you know what, you probably would have knocked the wind out of me or something. At least I would have went out there, would have made me feel that much better, opposed to sitting there for months later playing the what if. And that's what happens. So that's what I'm telling you, like as much as it's like, oh, step outside of your comfort zone. You have to get out, you have to start small into something so you get a little bit of a different point of view, right? Yeah?
Things like that usually happen, like you want to do something, but you just don't do it. And then
Exactly.
you just, what, like, the what?
She's gonna feel like it's snowing for the whole month.
For like, actually, me and Andrew just had a wrestling tournament last night, and you know, I wasn't real confident. Like this kid, his name's Declan. You know, and apparently he's real good. I saw Andrew versus him.
They blew him up, right? Everyone's like, he's unreal, and you see him and everything.
Yeah, and
Scared you a little?
yeah, like even though I didn't show any fear, I was real scared inside. I was, you know, I was fighting with myself inside, and that I think that's why I lost. But then after I versed him, I was still smiling. I was real happy that I still versed him and I still tried my best. Like,
You never look back opposed to sitting there saying, you know what, maybe I wouldn't have done it. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like even if, you know what, so look at me, for instance, that time I got knocked unconscious, no one wants a concussion. I never want to, I was very angry at that guy for doing that because, you know, that was arrogant on his part. But at the same point in time, I learned a very valuable lesson in life that things happen like that.
yeah.
And that was exactly, as long as, you know, my mental faculty, like I keep telling you, is in order. But going back to that idea, so with confidence, right? There's numerous times, like a lot of the time we get lazy too, or we kind of sit there like, I don't want to do it, but really it's always going to be the what's going to really bug you in the pain and regret is not doing it. And that's the thing. So even at the end of the day, like you had a long day, who knows? You might show up somewhere like to some event, you're like, screw it, I don't want to go. But then you show up to that event, you meet the love of your life. Maybe you show up to that event, you meet a mentor that's going to completely change your life. You meet someone, you never know. That's the thing. So where I'm starting off here, so with building confidence, it's like I said, you probably don't have the confidence because you've never put yourself in that situation. Think I ever thought I'd fight a kickboxing ring? One time I dropped a guy at 20, I was 16 years old. The guy was 22, like 6'2", jacked. I went in there, I saw the guy, I looked across, like, this is a funny story. I'm looking across, I was in Cambridge, and I was terrified. Like I kept yawning, and that was my nerves going through my mind, right? I'm playing the what if. And I'm looking at this guy training, he's hitting pads, like the guy had arms like this, okay? And at the time I was like, you know, probably 170 pounds, and it was an in-house fight. I'm watching the guy, I'm like, whoever's fighting that guy, man, whew, that's gonna suck. Guess what happened?
You got him.
Funny enough, and this is the kicker, try to get in this mentality, right? So I warm up, I'm looking at this other kid, I'm thinking, oh yeah, we're competing against this guy. They call my name, my song comes on, I'm walking into the ring, I'm all confident, guess he's in the ring, buddy's in the ring, I'm looking over, I'm like, uh-oh, like, and think about it, you're in a fight, I can't just turn around and start running, my whole teammates are there, everything, you're in, like, you're ready to go. It's like, you're going in there, and so I hopped in there, the guy had garbage technique, he's throwing them from here, and you're right, I'm a technical guy, like, strategy, right, that's where I base my attitude, and